Hey friends, welcome to 1 Minute with Monée, a podcast where we help busy adults live life with balance and harmony 1 minute at a time. I'm your host Monée, owner of Time Managed LLC, a premium concierge and personal assistant business. Visit our website, timemanagedllc.com, for more information about our services. Each week, I bring you practical advice, expert interviews, and real-life strategies to help you navigate your lifestyle and manage your responsibilities, reducing stress and fostering better health. We ensure there's something to empower every aspect of your life. So whether you're here to listen and get tips or looking to hire a concierge, this is the place for you to become less stressed and live life with more balance. Hey friends, welcome to another episode of 1 Minute with Monée. The quick tips are, despite your busy schedule and in the midst of all the fall chaos, don't forget to schedule your date nights. Also, if you know that you're going to have a busy week, because that is the season that we are all in, make sure that you are intentional about how you're spending time with your significant other. And this doesn't have to be a specific date night, but if you want to stay home and order pizza with the kids and watch a movie, that counts as well. This episode is really about managing your connection and how couples can stay connected during the fall chaos. I have here again with me a returning guest, my husband, Ronald Williams.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. It's nice to be back.
Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. I appreciate you being here as always. We're in a pretty busy season, right? We have
Definitely.
Our third child is a senior in high school. Not only are we dealing with the busyness of the fall schedule, but this is a particularly busy time because he's a senior in high school. And so we're doing college visits. We're trying to make sure he does his SATs, does well, and we're on the home stretch. So we want him to stay on top of his business and finish strong, exactly. And one of the things that we've been pretty intentional about, which I think has helped us, is to maintain our calendar. And he has even been intentional about putting things on the calendar. Or he'll come to me and say, hey, I noticed that there was nothing on the calendar. Can we go to this college? And so that's been good. And I think it has allowed us to ease into the fall a little bit.
It only took about 3 years to rub off on him.
Right.
But yeah, he is taking initiative, and especially the things that he's driving, like his recruiting, which we're proud of. Been intentional about getting things on the calendar because he knows how busy both of us are. So we do squeeze it all in, and it's great that we're all on the same page.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, we've had a busy summer, of course, with him as an athlete. We're on the road a little bit for track. And now when we have to make that shift to the fall, it kind of changes the rhythm of the household a little bit. What have you noticed as far as changes? We also had, we just recently celebrated our anniversary. I think we should pause and celebrate that.
Yeah.
So this summer, yes, it was busy. Mm-hmm. Yes, we had a great time. Yes, we were up and down the road with our son in track, and we got to spend a lot of time with our girls as well. So it was a fantastic summer. Mm-hmm. But we recently celebrated 24 years of marriage, which is an amazing milestone. It has not been easy.
But it has been a blessing.
Yeah. And so as we shift from all of that fun and celebration and having the kids home for the summer, some of the rhythm of our routine may have had to shift. Are you feeling that?
Well, operate from the standpoint of there's not really a routine because we have kids and they're all coming of age. So it was good to have them home all at one time briefly. But now everybody is back off doing their own thing. My night was back at work. Simone's back in school. Nasir has started back in school, but the traveling has not slowed down per se. So, I mean, a little hectic, but a good problem, kind of.
Yeah, I would have to agree. The rhythm stays consistent, I think, because Nasir specifically, travels and does track all year round. Yeah. So I think that has been the main foundation of our schedules and lives for the past 2 years. And so I just feel like this shift into the fall is more of that, but then adding on college visits, SAT prep, making sure he's being responsible about his own schedule.
Yeah, that prep for senior year has definitely been a major shift. I think even more so because of track.
Yep.
So, the other two are our daughters, our oldest children. College visits is the same, but not nearly as intense of a process. given that Nasir is being recruited. It's been a good problem to have,
Mm-hmm.
and we're very proud of all three of them. But shifting back into fall or trying to shift back into fall has been a little bit different.
This is the first time that we have had a student athlete to this extent that is being recruited for college. And the interesting thing, though, is that regardless of whether people are at our stage where they have this, the last kid or a kid in college and having to go on college visits, whether they are official athletic visits or just regular college tours, the intention that you have around the communication and the connection of you and your partner should be the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you think about when we did have all three of our children at home and they were all in school, when we first moved back to Georgia, Nasir was in 4th grade, Simone in 6th grade, and Nyla in 11th grade, all doing their own thing, whether it was a sport, music, chorus, a play. So things can get busy. And I think what we have done over the years is just adjusted to whatever the kids had going on. And we weren't always as intentional about each other because it was, because the kids were a priority or our priority. Are there any things that have stood out to you over the years that we could have done differently or that we've done particularly well as it relates to maintaining our connectedness during these busy times?
Well, I think travel has been a major part of our calendar, even when they were young, and especially now with the recruiting thing. But one thing that I really appreciate about our relationship is that I understand that even without the recruiting aspect of the children, I understand that you like to reconnect by traveling and getting away. And you understand that I am more simple. So we have middle ground that we meet at.
Yeah.
And when I need my downtime, but I also know what you like and I accommodate that. So it's give and take, but understanding what drives you and you understanding my simplicity, so to speak, I think helps.
Like, yes, we're busy. When is the next break? We can all just go on vacation. We need a break. We need to go somewhere, sit on somebody's beach, have a change of scenery. We actually recently went on a little staycation when Nasir was out of town, so that was kind of fun, right? And
I'm still on it.
We are still on it, but the audience may not. Yes, we popped in at home to record this episode. We're going back on our staycation in a little bit while our son is out of town. One of the things that I recently learned is that 23% of couples cite that balancing work and relationship is a major challenge. And when you think about the pace of life and you think about, what they call fall fatigue, those impact the relationship. And so if there are that many people saying that we can't balance, I think the fall just adds on another layer to that challenge. And then on top of that, only 25% of couples engage in meaningful conversation. And so although you mentioned that, for me, I like to get away. So if we are, stressed, if we're super busy, like let's just go somewhere to kind of reconnect, recharge a little bit. Everyone may not have that luxury. You might be too busy to even get away. But what are some of the simple things that couples can do to maintain that connection, even as something as simple as having a conversation?
I think this is overstated, but not taken seriously enough with date night. Absolutely. And I'll just leave that at that. Even if it's not a daily thing, you need to make time. It can be a walk, it could be sitting out on the back with a bottle of wine at the end of the night. Or even if it has to be business and you're sitting down, planning out calendars, etc., conversation will drift in. But it has to be our time.
Yeah, you have to be together to do that.
Yes.
You have to be together, even if it's in the same room. And one of the things that when you call me when you're at work, sometimes I just feel like I'm not in a place to chat because I'm so busy. But lately I've been like, okay, this is my cue to get up. So if you call me when you're taking your walks at work, I'm also gonna pause and walk away from what I'm doing if I'm able to. Yeah. But even that moment helps me to relax a little bit because sometimes if I am in the middle of a project, perhaps my brain is overloaded or I am feeling a sense of stress. But you calling to check on me or to even ask how my day is going or share with me how your day is going, I think there are some really nice key moments for us to stay connected and also to just have a few minutes of meaningful conversation.
And again, it takes you being intentional about that because I know you're busy, and I'm not going to take it personally if you don't have time to sit on the phone, but I take that time out during my 15-minute walk at work to check in and make sure you're doing all right, because I'm out of the door before everybody gets something. So
yeah. And there is a book. I'm going to put I think it's called Love. I think it really is called Love. But one of the things I learned, and I'll put it in the notes to this episode, is that, micro moments of connection build to larger moments. So even those small 5 to 15-minute phone calls, or even a few minutes to just check in with each other at the end of the day, whether it's over a glass of wine or right before bed, those micro moments matter because they do add up to bigger moments of feeling loved, of maintaining our relationship.
And I will throw this in too. Don't make that call all about what just happened at work.
I'm complaining.
This coworker or that coworker is getting on your nerve. Try not to do that. It's an actual check-in call. I'm getting in my walk and my time with my baby. I'm not talking about how such and such at the job getting on my damn nerve.
Absolutely. Couples who communicate openly about their needs have a 30% higher satisfaction rate. And 67% of married couples agree that maintaining curiosity about each other fosters intimacy. So staying curious about how we're doing, and also us being open about how we are really feeling and our needs is important. It's not always about physical intimacy. I think that emotional intimacy is just as important.
Yeah, definitely. You want me to expand on that?
I mean,
emotional intimacy is definitely important, but so is physical. It has to be a balance. And the fact that, or if you have both going on, I think you're in a good place.
For sure. Absolutely. Changes over the years. Because when you have really small children, I know I keep going back to when our kids were smaller, particularly 8 years ago. But even when they were babies, we had 2 children under 2 at one time. And then we had a daughter who was like 6 and 8 years old. So even that, like as a mom, that is a very stressful time because you're dealing with toddlers and you have a daughter who also is fairly needy at the elementary school phase. And so you may not feel like putting the energy or effort into your relationship because your focus is on the kids. So whether you're a stay-at-home mom or you're working outside the home, it doesn't matter. Like your life is your children.
Yeah.
And it might be hard to pause and take a breath and say, okay, let me pay attention to my husband, or let me let him know how I'm feeling, or let me ask him for assistance. Because even if it's, hey, I had a long day, the kids are working my last nerve. Can you help me wash the dishes? And we but we are in the kitchen washing the dishes together. And that's our time to kind of talk and connect. Or even you being proactive about, hey, how's your day going? And if I am honest about that, then you can say, well, let me help you with XYZ, or let me get the kids down for their bath. Why are you smiling? Are you having flashbacks?
A verse just came to mind at J. Cole. I want to fold clothes for you. I want to make you feel good.
All right. J. Cole was on to something. Shout out to J. Cole. But it's important for both people in a relationship to communicate well enough to be heard. And then the person that is on the listening end to listen well enough to know where they can tap in to give that assistance to the other person.
Yeah, but that also, it comes into play on that. We're on the other end of the spectrum. A lot of our friends and married couple friends have young children, and we're on the opposite end of that spectrum, meaning we're about to be empty nesters in a year. It was time when they were younger, but now that they're older, we have a lot more of that time. Yeah, we're traveling a lot, but we still have a lot more of that time that we didn't have when they required so much attention.
Free time.
But the struggle with that is we've been doing this for 20-something years now.
We have, yeah.
The fatigue, the energy is so important because there are going to be days you're just tired.
Right.
You don't have the energy to do a lot. But you have to be intentional about still keeping that time for your loved one. Beat down at work. You've been raising kids for 15, 18, 21 years. Us about to be 25. So it's been a road, and at times that energy is just not there, but you still have to be intentional about making time, putting in the time. It doesn't have to be, like I say, a night out on the town all the time. But
for sure. And we haven't done it perfectly over this
No.
24 years of raising children. Let's say that there is someone out there who's listening who is in a place of feeling overwhelmed, super busy in the fall chaos. What would you recommend that they do to repair and reconnect in their relationship during this time?
I think it's important that you put everything in its place. Like you said, what has worked for us lately, especially as the kids have gotten older and become more busy, is the calendar.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds corny as hell, but it's so important. You almost have to schedule your free time.
For sure.
So I think it's vital that you have everything in its place and make sure you have your time for yourself and your significant other. Me time is important too.
For sure.
Lord knows. But you have to put everything in its place. If you don't, your life is going to be chaos.
Yeah.
And you can't operate on chaos.
Right. And so if you are having trouble or a moment where you feel like you do need to pause, repair, and reconnect, just do that. Find that micro moment that is going to be your moment for reconnection. What is a small thing that you can do? Hey, can we put the kids down 15 minutes early and then go for a walk? Or can we take 30 minutes and go out on the back porch, like you mentioned? So what are these small things that you can do to then build up to some of the bigger things? So maybe date night is not a recurring event in your home or in your life, but maybe commit to doing it once a quarter if you can't do it once a month. Or again, whatever those small moments of connection are, they will add up to bigger moments. So just pause and figure out what is that thing, that micro moment of love that you can share to repair and reconnect. And I know we do keep mentioning date night, but it's not because we ourselves just really love a good date night, which we do, especially because we enjoy food.
Yeah, definitely foodies. But we understand that if you live in a city like Atlanta, like us, it gets pricey. So date night does not have to be Lake Colonial every other week. Oh my God. Shout out.
But it's about being creative and finding a connection. And it doesn't have to have a price tag on it. Be creative in what you do. There's a statistic that says that the likelihood of divorce drops by 14% when you have date nights. When couples engage in regular date nights, there is a 14% drop in the likelihood of divorce. So fairly small number, but when you think about how many divorces are out there happening, it seems to be a significant drop by just, being intentional about date nights. What is your take on the kids recognizing our love and relationship?
I think they think it's gross. But it's when I was younger, I think public acts of affection or public displays, we all hated it. I think as you grow, especially with 24 years in the game, if you're not comfortable with it by now, it's something wrong. But we don't hold that affection back in front of our children. We're not doing anything to gross them out, but
we're modeling behavior
for
them so they know what healthy relationships look like. And then when they have their relationships, either they're going to look for some of those healthy aspects in their partner, and they will also be that partner who is loving and who is going to be intentional about spending the time and who can communicate really well and stay connected. So I think modeling that is super helpful.
Yeah. And, not just, I think we display it in how we treat each other and respect each other and talk to each other, but also small things like we all have. If you have a teenage boy, he comes in the house and tries to run straight to his room and won't speak to anybody. But I think we're intentional about making sure he speaks to the family.
Yes.
When he comes in the door.
Let me see your face. Let me look in your eyes. What? Yeah. What is going on with you today? So,
it's making sure that they not only maintain the family, but making sure they realize how important it is. Sure. Family is everything.
Yep, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what their relationships are like when they get older and have significant others.
I think they do good now. I think
they're great friends.
Yeah. Yeah. I think most siblings fight middle school, high school, but our kids, it's the boy is the boy. The girls will tell you he irritates them, but they all get along very well. Nyla's in town. Sure. When Nyla's in town, they go out to eat together. Simone will often take Nasir to eat when she's in town.
For shopping. They went thrifting the last time that she was in town, so that's fine. So yeah, I think we've built the foundation of respect and trust and communicating well. And because Simone and Nasir are so close in age, I think that they've been together they've been like two peas in a pod, since birth, basically.
Yeah. And they miss each other until they're under the same roof for about 2 weeks.
Right. The drama comes when everybody's in the house, but that's to be expected. All right. Well, that is all that I had. I mean, some closing thoughts is to just make sure that you are being active and intentional about spending time with your significant other. Of course, this does include the family. So if there are things that you can do to foster love throughout the entire family, not just with your significant other, make sure that you're doing that. So even though that this episode is really talking about connectedness in the fall chaos between you and your partner, your children are also a part of that. So whatever fall rituals you have, whether it's, apple picking, Sunday dinners, journaling, communication, it's all what?
We love the journal.
Do we?
Yeah.
Whatever it is for you and your family, just make sure that you're having those intentional moments of connection and intentional touch points. I would love to hear from the audience. Let me know how you are reflecting on some of the things that we have said. How are you connecting with your loved ones during this busy season? If you have any rituals that you want to share, please do. If there's any struggles that you have questions about or want some advice on how to change that, we will tell you what has worked for us. We're not professionals, but we are so happy to share our story and some tips that have worked really well for us. Well, and thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, be well and be balanced. Thank you for joining me this week. Let's continue the conversation on social media at 1 Minute with Monét on all channels. Also, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Until next time, be well and be balanced.